When you look at the Forbes billionaire list, almost all the men made their money in tech. And then you have a man named Bernard Arnault at number 3 with around $170 billion, trailing right behind Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and often trading places with them. Except Bernard didn't make his fortune in tech. He didn't make his fortune in finance like Warren Buffett, or with some industrial conglomerate like the Indian billionaire at number 10, Mukesh Ambani. No, Bernard made his billions in the world of luxury, everything from fashion, leather goods, jewelry, and high-end spirits. He's the man behind the parent company that owns some of the biggest names in luxury: Louis Vuitton, Dior, Celine, Hennessy, Tiffany Co, Heuer, Hublot, Sephora, and many more, making him the only top 10 billionaire in luxury, the richest man in Europe, one of only 4 people right now in the elusive centibillionaires club, those with over 100 billion, and in 2 instances, Bernard became the richest man in the world for a few hours as his company's stock rose and fell.
Louis Vuitton is by far the largest and #1 luxury brand in the world.
In 2020, his parent company LVMH made over $10.1 billion in profits. That means he's minting $1.1 million every hour, or $19,000 every single minute. By the time you're done watching this video, he would have made around $285,000. During Bernard's rise to the top of the luxury world, he was so ruthless that he earned the nickname the Wolf in Cashmere. Today, Forbes calls him one of the world's ultimate tastemakers.
We're dealing with one of the most successful people in the world, one of the great taste makers in the world.
So what does it take for a man to rise to the top of the world in a single generation? This is the rise and reign of the Wolf in Cashmere. The title animation you're seeing right now was made using a plug-and-play template from Storyblocks, today's video sponsor. Storyblocks is a platform that lets you download unlimited stock video, audio, music, images, all in one single affordable subscription. Basically, Storyblocks gives you everything you need to make videos faster so you can get the views, clicks, and shares you want without paying per download. So making pro-level edits like this, is as easy as clicking download. And if you're new to video editing and you're intimidated by it, Storyblocks even offers an easy-to-use video editor that lets you import their library directly into your edit and export your videos into all the popular formats. Get started by going to storyblocks.com/JakeTrend right now with the link below to sign up for their unlimited all-access plan. There's no commitment and you can cancel at any time. That's storyblocks.com/JakeTrend with the link below. The $340 billion business of luxury is extremely different from any other business out there like tech. With something like Facebook or Google, your aim is to build something genuinely useful that you charge little or no money for the masses to use. You're playing the game of keeping the masses' attention, and we have an entire video on modern tech monopolies if you want to learn more. But in luxury, the stuff you're selling is not really useful. There's not that much practical value in a $55,000 piece of metal with shiny rocks on it, also known as an iced out watch. Now don't get me wrong, I love watches, but still, there's not that much practical value in a $3,000 Louis Vuitton purse, or a $600,000 Lambo. And yet, these luxury brands are still able to convince reasonable, intelligent people to be excited to give them their money every single day. Here's how it works. The world is ran by smart people. If you look at the totem pole of society, it's just smart person on top of smart person trying to convince other people to do what they want them to do. Give me your money, give me your time, give me your power, your vote, in exchange for a product, a job, a handout, and so forth. When you're poor and broke, you are owned by smart people like your boss. Smart people can get broke people to do whatever they want because they're broke and desperate. Your boss gives you money in exchange for your time and you gladly take it. And there's nothing inherently morally wrong about this, it just is what it is. But then, some people are able to make it out of that poor phase into the freedom phase where you're making around $100K a year or more on your own. At this point, you're not owned by your boss, you don't have to rely on smart people because you're not desperate anymore. You're self-reliant, you can do what you want, when you want, etc. At this point, smart people can no longer get at you, but they still really want to because we're naturally power-hungry creatures. So in order for smart people to convince successful people to do what they want them to do, you have to lure them in with something else. And that something else is luxury goods.
In order to get successful people to do what they want, they have to lure them into something else. And the way they do this is with gold, gems, and coins, and fancy things. How do you get a person that you can't control to give you all their power? Well, you convince them you have something that's worthwhile and valuable.
You show off the watches, the jewelry, the fashion, and say this is what success looks like. But in order to look successful, you have to give me your money for it.
You see people buying $400,000 cars, getting giant houses. You see people flying private and showing off their watches. These things have no value. I mean, seriously, they have no value. Go get one. Go get a $45,000 Rolex. See how long it keeps you happy. You have this really smart chimpanzee in the corner who sees that you have this nuclear power core that's super valuable, which is your time, your energy, and your focus, and your ability to generate power and money. He says, how can I get that? And so what he does is he goes and finds some shiny rocks, and he goes and finds a banana and covers the banana in shiny rocks, and then waves it, and then walks around the room saying, oh man, this is, and then all the other chimpanzees go, oh, that's what success looks like. You can probably see this in the likes and people talking about it and people going and obsessing over cars and stuff on the internet. They go, that's what success looks like. And then the monkey goes, oh, no, you can't, I've worked really hard to get this. This is so incredible.
And then all of a sudden, you go from being broke and working for smart people to being free and successful to then slowly getting lured back into working for smart people.
And so what slowly happens is smart people get back in your life and they take control of you again through the banks, finances, credit cards, basically any way they can. You get this big house, you get all these cars, you get all this stuff, and then, oh no, you gotta pay the lawn service, and oh, you gotta pay the pool guy, and then you gotta maintain the house, and you gotta pay your property taxes. The bank needs some extra closing costs, and suddenly you get killed by 1,000 cuts. And what's gonna happen is smart people start going and taking your power all over again.
Except when you're a pleb, at least you knew that you were working for the smart people. The transaction was obvious, it was a job, you give me your time for money. On the other hand, working for smart people because they're waving a diamond-covered carrot in your face while at the same time thinking that you're free and successful is a lot sneakier, but leads to the same results.
Instead of you ending up working for them because you have no choice, you end up voluntarily working for smart people again. Sure, you can make $2 million a year, but you've just become a $2 million asset for all the companies and all the things that you're paying for. That's all you are. You're a sucker. You're even worse than the guy who's broke. You start digging and digging and digging because you think that's what success is. And that's what stupid people think success is. If you go look at what people are following on Instagram and YouTube, that's what success looks like. It's having 15 Lamborghinis, 3 homes, 14 different things. But then what happens is you add all these things, and because they don't really have any value, well, first off, your life doesn't improve. But then what happens is you had 100% of your time and focus right here to work on whatever you want whenever you choose. You start having to worry about all sorts of things that really have nothing to do with your happiness, and suddenly you end up working for all the objects that you own. And then what happens is you slowly end up losing this freedom you achieved, and you're right back here, just in a far funnier way.
This is the business of luxury. You're not selling practicality, but the feeling of being successful. The feeling that you're special, higher class, above the other plebs that can't afford this $1.5 million watch. You're tapping into our instinctual human desire for peacocking, to exhibit ourselves as Christian Dior calls it, the father of modern fashion. The act of adorning ourselves with luxury to show that we're different from the have-nots dates back as far as ancient Egypt.
Oh, that one?
Huh?
Oh, that's 18 million.
18 million? 18 million?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Now again, there's nothing wrong with this, I'm into luxury goods, but if you do get into it, you just have to know that this is the game you're paying into. Alex Becker has a great video on this that I will link below.
I'm not saying don't buy nice things for your family. I'm saying just realize the costs they're gonna come at, because they do have costs. Money is a form of power, just like your energy and focus. And the thing is, when you get lured in by smart people, when you start going and getting lots of things, that energy and focus gets sucked away, and your power also gets sucked away. The most important thing you should think when you're buying things is just realize, first off, every expensive thing comes with major time constraints.
And that's where our guy Bernard Arnault comes in. Bernard grew up as the son of a father who owned a manufacturing and civil engineering company in France. According to Bernard, his mom made 2 major contributions to his life. 1, she made him take piano lessons, something that he still plays today, and 2, she had a fascination with the perfume and fashion brand Christian Dior. Little did she know that one day her son would own the company. Bernard graduated as an engineer from France's most prestigious engineering school, and then he joined his father's company. His father was the one that really gave him a sense of business, and by age 25, he took over the reins of his dad's company with the ambitions of starting his own empire.
And my father was really exceptional because he always gave me the sense of business.
He then sold off the construction side of the business and went into real estate in 1976. And by 1981, as the French socialists rose and threatened to tax the rich, Bernard moved his family to America, where he would spend the next 3 years growing his family's real estate business. When he returned to France in 1983, he started looking for undervalued deals in business and came across something that he couldn't pass up. It was Christian Dior. the 80s, everyone was getting richer. The world was becoming more of a meritocracy than ever before. Climbing the social ladder in America was easier than ever before. This made for a wealthier middle class. Disposable income went up, people were getting married later in life so they had more money to spend on themselves, the average consumer was more educated and developed a taste for the finer things in life, and out emerged the new social class of the affluent, unmarried female with plenty of money to spend. Or in other words, there was a whole new demographic of customers to sell high-margin luxury goods to. And it was happening right before Bernard's eyes, what we can call the democratization of luxury. And there was a lot of money to be made.
We try to build a large business with our partners with one criteria, the best quality and the most elitist product in every line that we are selling throughout the world.
So he bought the parent company that owned Dior and proceeded to sell off the majority of their other businesses, so he was only left with a few, including Dior, and he quickly turned it into a success. By 1987, a company called Moet Hennessy was merging with Louis Vuitton to form the conglomerate LVMH. Moet Hennessy owned the brands Moet de Chandon Champagne and Hennessy Cognac. Bernard saw this merger taking place and he had a golden idea that he had to move on. The creation of a luxury group that owned a ton of different luxury brands.
Had the idea of a luxury group.
Now looking back to where we are now, this trend of the world moving towards luxury is really easy to see, but at the time, not so much. And everyone probably thought Bernard was crazy to dump everything him and his father built to go into an industry that he had zero experience in. Like what? You're gonna give up everything to sell overpriced nice-to-have products to people who have zero history of buying these things? It was a big risk. So he started investing in LVMH, upping his stake to become the largest shareholder, spending upwards of $600 million a week to increase his holdings. This would begin one of the fiercest battles in French fashion history.
He was a complete visionary. He saw things that nobody else saw. He saw the increase of wealth in the world.
On September 15, 1988, the French industrialist announced that he had become the largest shareholder of LVMH at 37%. He then started to fillet many of the company's loyal servants with the goal of ousting the former chairman and many of the top executives. In the end, he came out on top and earned the nickname the Wolf in Cashmere for his ruthlessness. LVMH at the time owned Louis Vuitton obviously, a bunch of alcohol brands, Givenchy perfume, Christian Lacroix, and a few other brands as well. But Bernard wanted more. He wanted to capitalize on this democratization of luxury as much as possible. So he started buying up everything. Berluti in 1993, Celine in 1996, Marc Jacobs and Sephora in 1997, Tag Heuer and Gucci in 1999, Fendi, DKNY, and Hermes, which later fell through in 2001, Bulgari in 2011, and most recently Tiffany Co in 2020 for a staggering $15.8 billion. And these are just some of the acquisitions.
Bernard Arnault is the most talked about man in the fashion world today.
Dior itself does over $1 billion a year.
I understood that something was going on. You know, when you start seeing your father's face on TV and in the newspapers.
It's one thing to identify a moment in time and to have your taste and your vision collide with what the world would want at that moment in time. But he's been successful over a lot of moments, over a very long period of time across the world.
Today, LVMH owns 75 luxury brands. They just swallowed up Nestle, pushing them to become the most valuable company in Europe and the 21st most valuable company in the world. They own hotels around the world, and their entire empire can be divided into 6 branches: fashion, wine and spirits, perfume and cosmetics, watches and jewelry, selective distribution, and other activities. The Wolf in Cashmere is also living large. He lives in a 150-year-old castle in France with a bunch of other properties in France. He has 5 different homes in Beverly Hills, California. He owns a $150 million super yacht named the Symphony, worth more than all his Beverly Hills homes combined. He's got a $40 million private jet. He reportedly owns his own private island in the Bahamas called the Indigo, and of course he's a bit of an art collector with his own museum called De Fondation Louis Vuitton. And at 72 years old, Bernard Arnault shows no signs of slowing down.
To have the empire he has, based upon talent and good management skills, but with very creative people who themselves probably think they're the best in the world at what they do, and in many cases they're right. And somehow he's able to get those people to work collaboratively and organize them and work for him.
That's not at all how he thinks, in my opinion. I think his big strength is actually to speak to creative people and to make them thrive under his management. It's not to create profit or create more revenue or double the size of the business.
You know, the success of the group is made of the quality of the product. And the quality of the product is a consequence of the extraordinary craftsmen and women that are working with us.
Guys, don't forget to check out Storyblocks, the sponsor of today's video, where you can get unlimited video, audio, music, pictures, After Effects animations, everything you need to make videos faster. Storyblocks has them with the link below. These sponsors really help make this channel possible, so you should check them out and support them, and you get a great product in return. I will admit that I've been getting more and more into luxury products as the days go on, especially watches like this beautiful Young Hans World Timer in rose gold, my favorite color. I got this from a YouTube friend that does watch videos. His name is Teddy Balasar. He runs a watch channel and he has his own authorized dealer shop that I got this from. Super nice. I really like it. You can check it out with the link below. Not sponsored. I don't get any kickback. He's a cool guy. I am well aware of the game that I'm buying into, but my plan is to just indulge and, get it out of my system. And then if and when I realize that this stuff is a total waste of money, I will move on with my life. If you are new here, you might also subscribe because we make video essays just like this one and that one every single week on the most thought-provoking stuff in the world of business. Shout out to Athena for following me on Instagram. I am following back one random person every single week at jaketrend.io. That is gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome. I've been Jake. Stay dangerous out there, and I will see you guys in the next one.